Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Serein, and today's video is all about DIY long-lasting eyelash extensions that you can do at home. I have been using DIY lash extensions on and off for about 5 years now, and I have tried every major brand on the market and some not so major ones that are a lot more affordable that I highly recommend. I'm going to walk you through my current lash routine, my 2 favorite brands that I have discovered and recommend personally to everybody in my life. I'm going to talk about how I maintain my lash health, how I clean my DIY lash extensions while I'm wearing them, how I get the most out of each pair, and then I'm going to go through every single brand I have ever tried. Trust me when I say I've been on every lash subscription that is available since 2020. Let's just start with the good stuff. My current recommendations for lash extensions, the tools, and how I maintain my lash health. The ones I'm currently wearing is a new to me launch, which I'm obsessed with, and they're quite affordable and the easiest DIY lash extensions for up to 5-day wear. If you're new to DIY lash extensions or the under-lash method, which all of these are, and you're a little bit nervous about the whole situation, I highly recommend checking out the new Impress long-lasting lash extensions. So these come with 2 full sets. What I love about it, and I've clearly used this one, it's the one I'm currently wearing in this video, is that it completely gives you a very easy to follow lash map. It's very natural. I prefer the demi edgy, super beautiful, super simple to apply. It tells you which eye to apply it on. It comes with tweezers, and there's no glue application. So it's pre-glued. It comes in little clusters. It literally lays it out for you. And these are reusable. Now, I find that I don't reuse a set because I prefer to leave them on my eyes for about 3-4 days max. You'll notice that even though a lot of these lash glues, lash bonds, lashes are marketed up to 10 days, 14-day wear, I'm going to use it less, and that is personal preference for hygiene and lash health, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Now, these are marketed up to 5 days. I have found I've got 2 to 3 days of solid wear time, and then around day 4 or 5, my inner corners, which is always going to be my trouble spot, starts to lift. Now, this is when you can gently remove, wash the glue part with cold water, let it dry, and then reapply to your dry lashes. Now, I found that that gets me to 5 days, but if it's really hot, I've been sweating a lot, I am a group fitness instructor, I also spend a lot of time outdoors in the summertime, I take really hot showers, I wash my face pretty efficiently. I'm okay with just kind of like taking them off and reapplying a fresh set of lashes. I also like to give my lashes a break. You can see this is a brand new package, but the band is super thin and lightweight, even with the glue already on there. Just been really impressed with the quality of these lashes and how natural they look. So I prefer the demi edgy for a really beautiful, soft, a little oomph. Is she wearing falsies? Is she not? And I love how lightweight and easy these are to apply. So if you're brand new to DIY lash extensions and you want extended wear, I recommend trying this brand out. I will link everything I can find in the description box or in the YouTube shop option. And if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments. But these are great. You don't need anything else. You just need this. It comes with everything. It's really foolproof. My next recommendation is going to be from a new to me brand called Airy Cute. Airy Cute is available through TikTok Shop, but I do believe I can link it for you in the description box if you want to try them out. For the price point and the quality and specifically the longevity of the glue, I really recommend this system. This is going to get you anywhere between 5 to 10 days of wear. This is one of the best lash bonds I have tried in a very long time. What I love about this lash bond is that it is almost 100% waterproof. The reason I don't say it's fully waterproof is because there is some trial and error, and you will have to figure out how your lashes perform with the bond. For me, I personally like to apply a little bit of the bond, and I have the black bond. It comes with a slight curved micro mascara wand. I don't swipe it all the way through. I just tap it along the underside of my lash line, not at the waterline, just at the base of the lashes. I let it get tacky, and then I will apply my lash clusters. About using this kit is you're gonna have to build your own lash map. Some people are going to love this because it gives you creativity and versatility, unlike the Impress ones. However, a lot of us, we're gonna notice that we're using up a lot of one size and have a lot of one size left. Like, I'm never touching these ultra long ones. It's just too dramatic for my eye shape and my eye size. So I'm going to be using more of these, and I'm going to run out of my smaller lash clusters first, which is frustrating because then I have a lot of waste. That is the downside of buying one of these kits. However, I'm hoping that sooner than later they will launch specific sizes of lashes, so you know which sizes you like and you can just purchase those. This is a good kit to get started with because it comes with a variety of sizes of lash clusters. It comes with the bond, the seal, the remover, some tweezers. So this kit will come with everything you need to really get started, and I will talk about what I would recommend purchasing to maintain your lash health and your hygiene. But Airy Cute has an incredible long-lasting bond that truly is the most waterproof bond I have experienced in my 5-year journey. I love the seal as well. What I'll do is I'll apply the bond to the base of my lashes. Do not brush it through. You'll wait for it to get a little tacky. What I'll do is I'll take a very fine-tooth lash comb and I'll kind of brush the ends of my lashes to make sure there's no glue clumps, because I don't want my lashes to be clumped together. Once it's tacky, I'll apply the lash clusters. Now on the inner corners of my eyes, because those are the most trouble areas for my extensions to last, what I'll do is I'll take my smallest lash cluster and I'll apply the bond directly on the lash cluster band. Wait for it to get tacky and then apply it to that inner corner. I find that that trick of waiting for the bond to really get tacky before application is going to get you the strongest bond for the longest amount of time. You can always double apply. So while you're waiting for the glue to get tacky on your lashes, you can apply it on your lash cluster band and wait for that to get tacky. They do have a clear bond, which a lot of people prefer, especially if you have lighter lashes. You can apply the bond on the lash clusters and your lashes, and it will literally go from white to clear when it's tacky, and then you know it's time to apply the lashes. Once I have fully applied my lashes and I like the placement, I'll go in with a clean set of tweezers and pinch the lash band to my natural lashes, or I'll go in with my fingers and just gently press and pinch. Once that is done, I will then go in with my seal. And this is the process I'm going to explain for pretty much every single brand. You'll go in with the seal and you're going to very, very lightly apply this clear seal to the areas of the lashes that feel sticky. So for me, I'm going to pull up my lashes and apply it to the underside where the band and my lashes are connected. And then if I still feel a little tacky stickiness, I'll apply the seal to my clean tweezers and pinch it to the base of those lashes. You use the seal to make it a little bit more waterproof and also to take the tackiness down. You don't want to apply too much seal because then it starts to feel a little crispy and it makes the lashes look less natural. So that is the application process for Airy Cute and pretty much all of the lashes I'm going to talk about today. I do have detailed tutorials on my beauty channel from many years ago, but if you'd like an updated tutorial, let me know in the comment section and I can definitely do that for you. I also have posted tutorials on my TikTok. So I do really enjoy Airy Cute. I think the bond, the seal, the quality of the lashes, how beautiful the lash band is, because you want a really thin lash band. So I love the quality of these lashes for the price point. I love the kit because it literally gets you started. My favorite lash bond is going to be from Airy Cute. And after trying all the different lash bonds, I think this one is the strongest, most long-lasting without damaging managing my lashes and relatively easy to use. So this is gonna be a step up in terms of quality, versatility, and maybe challenge of getting used to using. It's still easy. I still think it's pretty easy. There's a slight learning curve, but very, very effective. So if you're moving on from the Impress versions, this is the next step up. Airy Cute is the newest brand to me because previously I was really loving You Cool Me lash clusters and lash bond and seal. However, because of the lash drama caused by a certain brand that I'll mention later, You Cool Me is no longer available, or it's very hard to find. So I'm mentioning them because if you can still find You Cool Me lash bond, lash clusters, and remover, I highly recommend them. However, there is some lash drama and therefore they're no longer available where you would typically get You Cool Me. Their lash clusters were very, very beautiful, high quality with a thin band. Another really great affordable kit that is easily accessible to most is going to be Falscara. This is from Kiss, which is also the brand for Impress. So Kiss Falscara is basically like the easiest, quick, do-it-yourself DIY lash extensions at home. I think the bond is pretty decent. It also comes with the seal, so it's the bond and seal system. It comes with a remover, it comes with tweezers, and then you're started with a couple variety of lash clusters. Loving the Falscara Studio because it brings accessibility to DIY lash extensions. If you're looking for a strong hold of a bond, this is more like a 3 to 5 day bond for me. I definitely think it's good to get started. It's going to be very accessible price-wise, but the one that I would recommend for bond is going to still be Airy Cute. Their bond is just a little bit superior over the Kiss Falscara one. I will still use the Kiss Falscara one, don't get me wrong, like this kit, I will still use it. I'm just going to personally say very slight difference. You're gonna get a longer lasting lash with Airy Cute bond versus Falscara. I have also tried Flutter Habit, and this is a good place to start if you want somebody to give you a lash map. Flutter Habit is going to give you these boxes of lashes, and there's going to be the classic collection, which is what I would recommend starting with because it gives you some of their most popular lash maps, and you'll see, unlike Airy Cute, unlike Falscara, you're going to end up getting the exact eyelashes, which is good if you have a very normal eye shape. Not so good if your eye shape is slightly smaller, slightly larger than the average person. But what you can do with these lash maps is that you can go in with very fine, sharp scissors and trim them on the outer corners or the inner corners or even in the middle to where you need it. So when I was first getting started, I actually preferred having Flutter Habit lash maps because I didn't have to think about how many 14s, 12s, 10s, 8s, 5s did I need. So this is also a good option. Now I have tried the Flutter Habit glue, and I feel like their glue is the most difficult one to work with. It is very wet. It takes a while to get tacky. It's very easy to use too much, which then causes a little bit of a mess. I've actually gotten their glue in my eye and it really, really hurt. So I don't necessarily recommend their bond or their glue, but I do think if you're looking for lash maps and you want to use either the Falscara glue or the Airy Cute glue, this might be a good option for you as well. I don't have any issues with Flutter Habit. I just find that I have to customize these lashes a little bit more frequently, and they're basically like pre-mapped out for you, so there's very little to mess with. Now the difference though between the Impress long-lasting ones is that I love that the smallest lash on the inner corner is a 5mm. I have smaller eyes. I have more of an almond-shaped eye, so that 5mm inner corner lash is beautiful. I think it makes my eyes look the most natural while adding a little bit of volume. It's why I love the long-lasting Impress no glue lashes. These are so reached for because of that 5mm. It goes from 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5. So it's a very beautiful gradual lash map that goes from flared all the way down to the inner corner. And like, if I don't want it to go that far, I could always skip the 5mm or the 14mm. With these Flutter Habit ones, I find that the smallest lashes on the inner corner is about an 8, sometimes a 10. So that actually irritates my inner corner eye area, and then I end up rubbing it and then the lashes start falling out. So it just depends on your eye shape. It depends on your preference. It depends on what fits you the best. The Bestie from Flutter Habit fit me the best in terms of Lash Maps. I do enjoy their Lash Maps. I just think it's something that I've kind of outgrown at this stage in my lash journey. I wanted to mention some brands that I've used in the past that I no longer use for whatever reason. The first one is Winkclique. I don't have any issues with it. I was actually a customer that subscribed to Winkclique, and they would deliver lashes, I think, every month. And it's very similar. They had boxes of lashes and they had a bond. I wasn't crazy about the bond. It was very, very tacky, very, very wet as well. So it was a little bit more difficult to use, and I had more issues with it. If you're looking between Winkclique and Flutter Habit, I'm gonna recommend Flutter Habit a little bit more. I don't recommend either one of their lash bonds. I do think the Flutter Habit lashes are a little bit more refined and thin when it comes to that lash band. Winkclique's lash band was the thickest of all the bands I had tried, and I think that's why their glue was a little bit wetter and tackier. I just found that lash band was too thick for a natural look and the glue was too difficult to work with. Flutter Habit has a thinner lash band with the same idea of selling you the box of Lash Maps so you don't have to build your own lash map. I don't have any Winkclique lashes left or glue because it's been a few years since I did use them. And then before I discovered Winkclique, I was using Liliac Street, which I discovered after I used Lashify. Liliac Street is very affordable. Their glue was the best I had tried at the time, but moving forward, the more I've tried out, the less I enjoy Liliac Street. I think at the time when I discovered Liliac Street, they were the most affordable option, but it was frustrating because they used to sell their lashes in Lash Maps like this. I did love the lash band, but I think innovation-wise, lots of other brands like Impress, Kiss, Airy and Cute, and Flutter Habit have improved their lash bands over time, and their lash bands are just as good as Liliac Street now. Now, Liliac Street's glue at the time was really good. It was really tacky. It was the most long-lasting glue I had used for these lash clusters, but I think Airy and Cute has a better glue now, and I think in terms of fluttery, natural, lightweight lash bands, Impress and Kiss do a better job at a much more affordable price point and more accessible because they're available on Amazon. They're available on Amazon, Ulta, Target, all of those things. So I have used Liliac Street. I used to recommend them a lot. I've moved on from them. And before that, because they were kind of like really good at marketing in the beginning, was Lashify. I used to be a subscriber of Lashify, but over my course of being a customer, I realized that the owner was a little bit of a bully and also had made some really offensive comments. So I stopped giving them my money, and I had discovered Liliac Street and later on all of the brands I've mentioned from the beginning of this video. So Lashify, I would say, is the most expensive and the worst glue. And that's not just because of the owner. As a customer and as a DIY lash user, I thought their lash band was absolutely beautiful, but nothing too innovative in 2025. And I think maybe in the beginning, they were doing a really good job of having a very natural, light band, which is what I was looking for, because I was going from professional lash extensions to DIY lash extensions. Their glue was awful. I could never get their bond to last more than like 5 days max. And that was me really messing with it. It is also a very expensive kit to get started with, and their individual lashes for the cost per wear is the most expensive out of all the ones I've shown you today. I just don't recommend Lashify, mainly based on the owner's ethics and how she handles customers. So you can obviously look into all of that drama, and Lashify is the reason that a lot of smaller lash companies are going out of business or no longer able to stay in business. So I never like that either because of the claims that they're making. You can support who you want to support monetarily as a customer. I choose to give my money to other brands. Let's talk about some lash health, because it is important to clean our lashes and maintain a clean set of lashes. Obviously, the more oils, lotions, and products you have around your eyes, the sweatier, oilier you are naturally, the less that bond is going to last. My recommendation, I always like to apply a fresh set of lashes after washing my hair, doing a full shower, and scrub down on dry, clean lashes. If you can't do that, just make sure your lashes are really, really clean and dry. And I always like to go in with a micellar water as well. I just use the Garnier one. I know technically there's an oil in here, but I've never had any issues with it. You just want to make sure your lashes are free of all product and as dry as can be. That's why I also recommend having a little personal fan like this. My lashes, and then I like to curl my lashes with a separate clean lash curler that I don't use with makeup or mascara. I curl my lashes just so that it's easier for me to apply those lash clusters on the underside of my lashes. I will use micellar water in the mornings with a Q-tip to just clean off any excess gunk from overnight, as well as any excess oils around my lash line into the inner corner of my eyes, and that seems to help me have a longer lash experience. If you want to keep your lashes a little bit longer and you wear makeup and you sweat a lot, I recommend getting a lash foam cleaner. This one I just found on Amazon. It's their lash shampoo, and it's best for cleansing lash extensions because it is completely oil free and it's a foam cleanser, very lightweight. What I'll do is I'll apply a pump of this on the tops of my lashes and just gently massage with my fingers, and then I'll fill this with clean water and I'll rinse it. I'll get really good in there with the water to rinse in between my lashes. I actually got a lash cleaning kit, and it came with the foam soap, this little contraption for the water, and a fan. It also came with a bag and a brush. Something that is not mandatory, but I recommend for everybody, especially anyone over 35. I'm in my 40s. I just want to maintain the health of my lashes and lash growth. So I use a lash serum, a lash growth promoting situation, would you say, or a lash conditioner. My favorite one is Revitalash, and I use the one that's for sensitive eyes. I've used 3 bottles of these, and before that I've tried a bunch of different versions. It doesn't really matter which one you use, just find one that works for you and that works within your price point. Even when I was getting professional lash extensions, my lash artist would always tell me to use a lash conditioner just to make sure your lashes are the healthiest that you could possibly have them. I'm ready to remove my lashes. I like to use an oil-based cleanser, and what I use is usually one that's from one of these kits. I have one from You Cool Me that I'm still using and getting through. Airy Cute has one also kind of the same concept, but basically it's an oil-based gel cleanser that comes with a plastic little nozzle spoolie, and you'll just brush it through the root of your lashes at the top and on the other side. I'll let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll gently rub it in, and a lot of the lashes will start to come off. The ones that don't come off, I'll reapply the oil, wait a few seconds or a few minutes, and repeat. You want to be really gentle when you're removing your lash clusters, as well as the lash glue that's left over, because we don't want to pull out our lashes unnecessarily. So sometimes your lashes will come out with the lash clusters, not a ton, like 1 or 2 is normal. That's normal lash shedding that's just attached to those clusters or the glue that's coming out. But if you're starting to notice a lot of your lashes coming out, most likely is that your lash health isn't great. Your hygiene might need to be looked at, or your lash clusters might be too heavy, or you might be leaving them in too long. So that's also why I actually prefer to switch out my lashes at least once a week. at least, okay? Just be mindful. If you're somebody who is very sweaty, active, wears a lot of makeup, it is better to replace your lash clusters than to lose your natural lashes. I mentioned that I went from professional lash extensions into DIY lash extensions. And the original reason I did that was because it was 2020 and I was pregnant. So before all of that, I had been going to see my lash artist every 4 to 5 weeks for over a year. And I think it might have been even longer than that. But I absolutely loved my lash artist. 90210 Lashes, if you're in the Beverly Hills area, highly, highly recommend her for the most natural, quality, professional lash extensions. I love her so much, Miyako, and I took a break during 2020 because of everything and because I was pregnant. And that's when I discovered Lashify, Liliac Street, and then later on Kiss Falscara. And then after that, I went back to my lash artist for a while, but then I moved. And when I moved, it was too hard to coordinate my lash fills because I did need them pretty frequently for me to feel good in them. And so I switched artist. She was good for a while, but then I missed the freedom of having the ability to change up my lash style, as well as being able to take them out completely to play with different mascaras. I love trying out different beauty products. I love having a more natural look. I love being able to rub my eyes when I want to. So I decided to just give professional lash extensions a break after a while, and then I missed them again. So I like the freedom that DIY lash extensions offer me at home. Do they last as long? No. Do I feel like they look as natural? Yes and no. Yes and no. I think it really depends on your lash preference and lash styles and your artist. I love being able to do a more dramatic look. I love going into more of a wispy look. I actually also find it really soothing to sit down and do my lashes at night. So for me, I like the freedom. I like the affordability. I also like being able to change my mind. And I also like the soothingness, the calmness it brings me to do my lashes. So I'm not against professional lash extensions. I just ebbs and flows, right? I do like that it's much quicker than having to book and schedule my lash extensions, which it used to take anywhere between an hour to 90 minutes for my fills, and they did cost anywhere between $80 to $150 depending on how much of a fill I needed, and also tipping my lash artist. So it's all down to cost and time and preference. I also did notice no matter how good my artist was at maintaining my lash health and telling me when I needed to take breaks, my lash health was a little bit less than when I use my own lashes at home, because I'm not able to take those breaks as frequently, and the strain of applying a permanent bond was more on those lashes. So those are all the reasons why I personally have been going back and forth, and why I tend to stick with DIY lash extensions since 2020, even though I did take a few breaks and went back to my professional lashes for a few months at a time. If you have any questions about DIY lash extensions, definitely leave me a comment. I'd be happy to make another video or try and answer them in the comments if possible. I will link everything that I do recommend in my Shop My, which will be listed in the description box. I will also link anything I can find via YouTube Shop so that you can just click over and check it out. I do make a small commission on YouTube Shop and Shop My, and that just helps me to continue to create content. It's a little thank you from the retailers for referring you. But if you don't want to use my links, that's absolutely fine. You can always search for it on your own as well. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you guys or make another updated video. And don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!